What's up, guys? Welcome back to Cough Country. It's Steve with your cannabis news, and we are back talking about how the Chinese mafia has taken over illegal cannabis in the U.S. So legal states from California and Oklahoma all the way to Maine are playing host to a new boom in organized crime, and it's all funded by marijuana, even as the country moves state by state to legalize the industry and pull it out of the hands of the black market. The cannabis underworld that was once dominated by the Mexican cartels has effectively been handed off to the Chinese, as easing restriction and penalties mean our illegal marijuana is being grown in the country rather than being smuggled across the border. And just as fast as legal sales have exploded, the demand for high-quality cannabis means the illicit market got a boost as well. According to Donnie Anderson, the director of the Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs, Chinese organized crime has taken over marijuana in Oklahoma and in the United States. Last year, 37,000 illegal Chinese migrants walked across the Mexican border, more than the last 10 years combined. Many of them destined for illegal grow operations run by Chinese nationals. They are trafficked over the border only to find themselves threatened and coerced into working off massive imaginary debts to Chinese gangsters. They're guarded at gunpoint and forced to work in inhumane conditions, and oftentimes the women are forced into prostitution. They first really started noticing this new influx of criminal activity when Oklahoma legalized medical cultivation back in 2018. They kind of opened up the floodgates to the wild west of weed here. Since there were no limits on how many grows could operate in the state, and the only stipulation was that the majority of the owners had to have lived in the state for 2 years, licenses were easy to get, and land was cheap. As long as they got a name to put on the official paperwork, Chinese mobsters were able to just open up shop, barely batting an eye. Today, much of the illicit cannabis in the country can be tied to those illegal grows, which are directly tied to the Chinese mafia. And as obvious as it is, decriminalizing has taken the priority of marijuana regulation away from law enforcement. Ray Donovan, former chief of operations at the DEA, said, quote, "The challenge we're having is a lack of interest by federal prosecutors to charge illicit marijuana cases. They don't realize all the implications. Marijuana causes so much crime at the local level, gun violence in particular. The same groups selling thousands of pounds of marijuana are also laundering millions of dollars of fentanyl money. It's not just one-dimensional." So lighter marijuana penalties often means these guys are really just looking at fines when they're caught, which they're able to mysteriously get wired to them from the mainland China before getting released back into the world of underground cannabis. But that ease of funding also suggests that the Chinese state itself is the man behind the curtain. There's no way these known criminals could get a hold of that money without the government knowing. So although the mafia and the government might be at odds within China, it's suspected the government supports the criminals overseas in an alliance that benefits both of them. In an exchange for government protection, mobsters will launder money internationally for high-level Communist Party officials and help spy on and intimidate Chinese migrant communities in this country. Much of the money for these ventures is coming from China as well, whether it's tied to government officials or swindled out of Chinese investors on popular social media platforms like WeChat, which also points to government acceptance as well. But Chinese control of illegal marijuana has launched Chinese organized crime into the global powerhouse. They've become the main money launderers for the Latin American cartels, who are also selling their fentanyl, and marijuana profits are paying to establish and protect what one DEA official called the most extensive network of underground banking in the world. All right, guys, thanks so much for checking us out. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow Cough Country News. And tune in next time, where it's always no sticks, no seeds, just news. Yeah.